Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Good evening. Welcome to the Mentality 360 podcast. I'm Michael Tolan, and this is
Kevin Lewis.
All right. It's another beautiful day. We're out here in beautiful Texas and bringing to you another episode of the Mentality 360 podcast, where today's topic is policing our communities. But first and foremost, we would like to touch on this week's hot topics and recent events.
All right, Mike. This week's hot topic. The one thing we can discuss this week would be the State of the Union address that was given by the president.
I honestly didn't even know that was going on.
You know, we was flipping through the channel, like, damn, we can't watch. We want to watch this clown talking, but nevertheless, I listened to that for a hot 20 minutes or so, and I'm not sure how all the rest of them have ever gone, for the presidents, who spoke before. But I know this one was kind of like filled with like a lot of things that wasn't true.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, like, how can you stand?
I was gonna say, I think his whole presidency has been filled with a whole lot of things that aren't true, or a whole lot of promises, right?
Right, but the crazy thing is this right here, though. How can you lie to people, but then people still support you, knowing that their lives is changing for the worse? Because this year, when people file their taxes,
right,
the middle class, then they gonna see, oh, that little $1,000 we got last year is nothing at all compared to what's about to happen.
Yeah, they're getting less taxes this year.
No, well, now they get a whole lot less.
Look, I never get money back, so
Dude, last year was the first year we got money back, and since I was single, you know what I'm saying. So I would always say, man, middle class gets screwed, but nevertheless, so that was that.
I don't know nothing about that. I'm lower class. What's that? What do they call that?
They call that balling. Don't even trip. And another thing I wanted to say, another hot topic was DMX got released, baby.
Holla at me, dog.
Yeah, but DMX, man, that's one brother who I've always believed that was torn between good and bad, because he'll make a song about killing everybody, but then he'll turn around and say, do a song about God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So to me, that was somebody who's torn. Like, I know the truth is, but I know what's paying me.
Seems like he got that devil and that angel on the shoulders, right?
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to DMX for being released. I hope this time he stays out of prison.
How long was he in?
A couple years.
Couple years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost like once those drugs get a hold to you, you just kind of at the beck and call of those.
Them drugs are a game changer.
No doubt.
And I think that might be a perfect segue
for
our topic, drugs, right?
Yeah, in the community. You're right about that.
Community.
Yeah. Okay, so that'll wrap up this week's hot topic.
Okay, and welcome back to the Mentality 360 podcast. Again, today's topic is policing our communities. So, Kevin, we're gonna touch on a few different aspects, as it relates to policing our communities. More so, I know recently, the last several years, even, we've seen a higher incident rate, I believe, or it's just been more visible where you're seeing police.
Yeah.
Shootings and killings of minorities, right?
Right.
And so, it is definitely more visible with everybody having camera phones and social media and all that. So it all goes viral very quickly. So there's a lot more focus on that. So we can talk about that aspect of it, as well as other aspects. The responsibility of ourselves to police our own community. So just to kind of kick it off. Again, I normally have a story, but as I think about it, if we can go back to like racial profiling, right? Which has been around for forever, right? And I think back, when I was a teenager, we were younger, growing up, we would get racially profiled, but it was almost like
the norm.
It was just the norm, right? So like we could be walking, a group of young black guys walking, police pull you over, pat you down, frisk you. Stop and frisk is what they call it now, right? which was completely illegal. But I guess depending on the state, right? Now, because they've kind of changed the laws to, I guess, aid the police to be able to do that to you. But yeah, so that type of stuff has been going on for years, and not to say that there aren't people in our communities that are doing illegal things, but to just impose that on a whole group or class or race of people is just it's kind of crazy. Um,
Well, that's no different between us saying that every single white person is bad because you have a few bad police officers. I mean, because still to this day, I struggle, and I try to be who God want me to be 24/7. I really do, even though I fall, but we all fall. But nevertheless, I struggle when I see white people who act like they don't understand that racism still exists.
Yeah.
Because that bothers me to the core. So I'm thinking, see, you don't see it because you don't want to see it.
Right. That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
You turn that blind eye.
Right. So just like every single white person is not bad, of course. Not every Jew is bad, or every German is bad, or black is bad,
or every police officer even. Right.
I don't know about that.
He said, I don't know.
So that's different. No, I'm just kidding. But you're right. Not every police officer.
But honestly, what about this? Like, if you riding, down 20 or wherever you riding to, maybe going to work or wherever you're going, police officer gets behind you, does not your demeanor, your train of thought, does that all kind of change in that instance? Do you instantly kind of get nervous or anxious?
What's funny though is that this right here though. Remember like 20 years ago or 10 years ago when you got pulled over, your only concern was you getting a ticket.
You getting a ticket. That's all you worry about. You're trying to get out of a ticket. Right.
But now, if you get pulled over, the first thing I'm thinking was, okay, let me make sure my hands stay visible. Let me make sure that if I got to put my wallet out, my wallet is sitting right here, so I don't have to go dig for my wallet. So to me, that's the crazy part, because like things have changed so drastically, but people hadn't changed that much. For the frame of mind to be so overreactive.
Okay.
And
I want to talk about that piece too, the frame of mind, but keep going. We'll come back to the frame of mind piece.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just funny how or it's sad how everything has turned for the worse when it becomes about us, about the color, brown people, because not one single hate crime has ever been committed by a black person. Not one single mass shooting has been done, except for the one in D.C. Which I was
DC
surprised.
Sniper.
Which I was surprised. I'm like, what? Because we've heard that was like, man, we don't do that. What
are
you doing?
Yeah, we were all thinking that. Like, where's this white dude? Yeah. Who's this white dude running around shooting?
Yeah, thank you. And so to me, I'm just thinking, how can you be overzealous to make sure that you shoot us, but it's these other people that don't look anything like us that's doing all these big hate crimes, mass shootings, and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Governor Corden. Because to me, that's not governed. Right. That's not being Governor Corden.
So do you think that the rate of those incidents has increased, or do you think it's just the visibility of it?
Visibility, big time.
Yeah, because it's probably always been that way. It's just that there's more eyes on it now. It's more.
Well, do you think it's always been that? Because think about this. Before, it was just hanging people. Because you didn't shoot them, you just hung them.
Oh yeah, well.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's just a different weapon used to do the same thing you've always been doing.
So instead of the hood, the white hood and all that, now it's a badge and a gun and a blue uniform, right?
What's the guy over the Ku Klux Klan? What's his name?
David Duke.
David Duke said a long time ago. He said, you know what? You think that we're all out running around with white hoods on or whatever. He said, no, we're infiltrating your police departments. We're infiltrating
these corporations,
the corporations, the court systems.
Mm-hmm.
So now these people are here. You think, hold on, I heard this a long time ago, but it didn't resonate to me because it wasn't affecting me like it is today.
Right.
Or I didn't see it like I did today.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I get it. Yeah. So you mentioned the mentality. So think about this. This is my belief, right? So I think, like, especially when you have two ethnically, racially polar opposites, engaging with each other, right? Mm-hmm. So there's probably different customs, different upbringings, different mentalities. So we'll take a white police officer, for example, that never grew up in minority communities, never really been around minorities, and he's always been told certain things and kind of conditioned to believe certain things about minorities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, we can say even in the minority community, we've kind of been conditioned to respond a certain kind of way to police, and that all police are a certain kind of way, right? Let's say we even got that mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you take a police officer, a white police officer, and you assign him to a minority community to police, now he already has that mentality about this group of people, these type of people, that they're all bad, that they're all doing something, breaking the law, doing something. So as soon as you know there's an opportunity for those two people to come together, interact, then I think that white police officer, he's already on level 10 before he even saw this person.
Sense is high.
Right. So he could even be in fear. You know, he's honestly probably afraid of this person, or you know, somebody that looks like you and I. So when they do have that interaction, I think it's just gonna what's the word I'm looking for?
Escalate.
Yeah, it's going to be way escalated. He's going to overreact every time because he has this innate fear, and he's already been kind of preconditioned.
Okay, Mike. Okay, I give you that. I give you the whole fear thing. I give you his whole senses or times 10. I get that. I get it. So this is my thing. If fear is fear, right? Because now you're saying I'm based my action off because I'm fearful of my life. Because I want to go home at the end of the day.
Fight or flight. Yeah.
Okay, so if my hands are on the steering wheel, and then you talk to me in a tone that makes me respond to you like what? Like, man, who you talking to? Now my hands are still here. Or if you'd ask me to, hey, I need your driver's license. And then I go and reach for my license and you start shooting me. Okay, then to me, it has to be some type of something there, because there's no way in the world that
you're that afraid.
I can respond to what you're asking me to give you. But like you just said, but I'm that afraid that I'm afraid that whatever you pull out might not be that license.
Yeah.
But yet and still, we see videos all the time. I saw a police officer, walk up to another white guy who had an AK-57 strapped to his side. And the thing is, hold on, you went to him and you talked to him. I mean, I'm thinking, and this guy was combative.
Right, very.
And not one time that your hand reached for your weapon, not one time that you say that you feel like you was fearful. So the thing is, I don't really know it's anything other than a black-white issue, because you can't govern me if you're fearful of me.
And that's what
you see what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
So I get the whole fear thing, but I'm not riding with that one.
And then I think too, if you're that fearful, you shouldn't be a police officer.
You should not. Yes, you should not be, unless you should be a crossing guard or something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Desk duty is administrative.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And also I think that, you know, given their supposed status and you know, once you are a police officer, that everybody's supposed to respect you and you know, I think it kind of gives them almost like a superiority complex, to where, you know, it's probably already bad enough they view these class of people or this group of people, minorities, as less than them
inferior,
anyway, as inferior. So, you know, you add that uniform, that badge, that gun, it amps you up, you know, boosts you up, your head up even more. So now you're really looking down on folks, and then that thought can, you know, it comes out in your actions. So it comes out in the way you treat people.
Now you got that Facebook courage, you know what I'm saying?
There you go,
you know
right? And so, you know, you're condescending to people, the way you talk to people, you know, that they have to do what you tell them to do. You know, even if it's against the law or there's no law that you're breaking, they figure that you always have to submit to them, basically, right? And so I think that's a problem as well. So what do you think about, you know, I know police are assigned to kind of govern, you know, police
officers. Actually, just serve and protect.
To serve and protect,
that's the only reason why they're here, really.
Exactly, right? So what about, you know, us serving and protecting our own communities, like policing our own communities? Do you believe we have a responsibility to be more vigilant in our communities, to be more hands-on, because it to me is like this. It's like my house, right? I'm going to protect my house. I'm going to protect everything in my house, especially my family is in my house, right? this is my responsibility.
Right,
So I
right.
see our communities as just the extension of our homes,
Mhm.
right? So it's our responsibility because most times in our communities, we know the people that's doing wrong. We know the people that's selling drugs, that's breaking into folks' houses,
Mhm.
that's doing all this stuff. But I think we have this unwritten rule, no snitching and, these type things that we condition ourselves to believe is, appropriate.
Mhm.
Like, so we'll allow stuff to go on in our communities and won't say anything about it. But then it's only when it's not happening to you. So as
Right,
soon as
right,
something
right,
happens
right,
to you,
right,
somebody
right.
run up in your house or got you at gunpoint,
Then why didn't you say something?
steal
You knew
your
he was
car.
doing it. Mhm,
Right, you
mhm,
know exactly who's doing it, but
Mhm.
you could have helped to put this person away a long time ago.
Right, right, right.
Right. So what do you think about that?
Well, it's funny because you said that we grew up because I grew up the same way that
Mhm.
you don't snitch, snitches end up in ditches or snitches get
Just
stitches.
stitches. Yeah.
But it's funny because a while back I learned that Christ says that when you know the truth, speak the truth.
Yeah.
But we're not raised and taught that, So
Mhm.
I didn't find that out until I was 40 some years old, and I have
Yeah.
been I'll take stuff to my grave. I ain't gonna say nothing at all.
Right.
But I understand the question, but I'm just gonna ask you this though, okay? Why would I govern and snitch on this man over here, right? When the people that's asked me to do this are most time police officers,
Mhm.
people in the city council, whatever it is.
Right.
But you don't snitch on your people. See, because
That's a good point.
if you show me, lead by example, if this as Officer X shoots this guy with no unlawfully for no reason at all other than he was black,
Right.
and you know he did this, snitch on him.
Right. You as a police officer know, you're bound by code, by law to uphold certain things, right? So your partner or somebody within your force did something wrong. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
They gotta
Now these are the same people that come into our communities telling us to do it.
right.
So I'm looking at you like, hold on. Now I know first of all with me, it had nothing to do with my title. It had nothing to do if you were a police officer. It had nothing to do with you whatever. Because I just believe that like you do, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. And so if I see it, I'm gonna report it because But but you can't come and tell me to do something that you're not doing because all I'm gonna do is look at you same way everybody else who doesn't believe the way we believe.
Right. That's true.
So I'm thinking, well, I get you, Mike, but I ain't really feeling you though because it's like once you show me that you would do it, then I do it.
But Kevin, we can't truly control what other people do. We can only be accountable for ourselves, right?
Hmm.
Right?
What'd you say? I wasn't
So-
listening to you. What'd you say?
So even if the scripture you just told me, right?
Mhm.
Even if you just base it off of that, then don't
Yeah,
you have
true
to
that,
tell
true
the
that.
truth?
Yes. Wait, but take this out. Telling the truth don't mean I have to go snitch. Telling the truth means if somebody asked
Ask
me, I
you.
would tell you.
You ain't
see
gonna
what
go
I'm saying?
volunteer
You're right,
no
I ain't gonna go
information.
volunteer no. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It don't say that. It say, hey, if you know the truth, speak
Call
the
you
truth.
Kevin, aka Sammy the Bull,
Boy,
right?
you know what I'm saying? Please. Mm-mm.
I hear you. But I don't know. Okay, we can call it snitching, we can call it whatever, right? But still, I think not that you go. Well, I don't know.
That's what you asked me to do, Mike.
I
That's what you asked me to do.
I guess I am asking you to
Yeah.
do that. But you want to see somebody wreak havoc in your community,
They're doing it
and you're
anyway.
just gonna
though.
allow them to do it.
Oh, you mean like the guy who's stealing or robbing or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the question, Mike. Here's the question. Do you believe that the average drug thing is a whole lot bigger than what you see in the house?
Absolutely.
Okay. And since I believe this, you just told me this. Your number one concern was keeping your family safe.
Right.
Therefore, if I go snitch on this kid across the street who's selling drugs, right? Now my family is at a bigger risk than it was before I said anything at all.
But truly, do you think so? Because this guy that's right there on your corner across from your house, now somebody else may want his quote unquote turf that he doesn't even own. Now they coming by doing drive-bys in front of your house, putting your family at risk anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, what do you do?
I ain't gonna snitch on him. I ain't gonna do that. Now I don't know, because
You gonna walk out there and politely ask him, "Excuse me, sir, can you please not
Okay, here's a question for you, man. No,
Sell
no,
drugs in front of my house.
real talk, real talk. Oh no, no doubt. I kid you not. If that happened, I would go have a conversation. I would walk over there and say, "Hey, man, I have kids in the house. Could you please, if whatever you're gonna do is your thing, just don't do it right here."
Mhm.
And I would truly go in to ask him that.
Mhm.
Now, if he didn't do that, then we're gonna have a problem.
You gonna call it 528 cash
boy,
on
boy,
him.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, because then we're gonna have a problem. Because then I want to make sure that not only I know, but the person next to me knows, the person next to everybody
Mhm.
knows. So then that way, when the police come in and talk to you, so that you're gonna be aiming for everybody.
Yeah.
Because if I let you know it's just me, it's just gonna be me that tell you. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
right.
So I'm gonna make sure everybody know before the popos come.
Yeah.
Because you know how they knock.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll know who that is.
Hmm.
But I got a question for you though.
Okay.
Do you know everybody in your neighborhood?
Right now?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay. So actually, things have changed drastically because in the back in the
Back in the
day,
day,
it
right.
was community.
It was,
'cause you
it
knew
truly
everybody. Now it's like every man for himself, unless because you might know this neighbor or that neighbor or whoever, but you're
Mhm.
not gonna be. I don't know because
Around the block, you probably don't know your neighbors
right,
around there.
right.
Like I truly don't. Like I can look out my window, and like you said, maybe the neighbor in front of me, the couple neighbors on the side, within
Hmm.
100 yards or so, I may know them. I do know one guy around the block, around the corner.
Hmm.
But like, yeah, I agree with you. Back in the day, we knew everybody in every house, and
So it's a lot
everybody. They
easier
knew
for
our
that.
parents,
Right,
they knew our
right.
grandparents. Everybody knew each other.
So the police would be a whole lot easier to police then,
Yeah,
but now I just don't see that.
yeah,
I don't see that. I just think that if you see it, if that's your thing to go to police and tell them, because 9 times out of 10 I'm thinking like the police probably already know.
that's possible.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So if I had to worry about my household being threatened by one enemy or another enemy, because both of them are deterrent to both, that would deter my family from being around the police and the drug dealers. I would roll the dice and say, let me teach you how to act around the police,
hmm,
because this guy, he a dime a dozen.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But this police officer could take your life in a second and then be off scot free.
right. So that's a good point. So we have boys, right?
Hmm.
So what do you talk to your son about, like as far as conducting himself around police and authority figures, and do you have those conversations with him?
I really,
Or has your son? Here's the second part of the question, or maybe the first part. Has your son ever been in the car with you when you've been pulled over by police?
luckily no,
Oh,
luckily no. But mind you, I have older kids also.
Mhm.
That's grown men.
right.
And so one of them has many dealings with the police, with the drug situation, the whole
He's
nine.
experienced.
Right. Well, I won't, I
Yeah.
won't glamorify because it's not a good thing at all.
Mhm.
But he's much better today. He's married, the whole
Right.
nine. So, but I do know though that he has no respect or regard for the police because he knows them.
Right.
Now, the son right over Drake, I believe that he just feels like it won't happen to me.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Thinks
So,
he's exempt.
right. So it's almost like I hear you telling me to do this and do that, and don't smoke weed in my car, and don't do this, but I'm gonna keep on rolling the dice because it won't happen to me.
Right.
So it's like it's almost like it won't register to you unless it happens close to you,
Right.
I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then as Drake, the youngest we have, I talk to him, but he don't, he don't get it yet. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because Drake, everybody's just people. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't distinguish between black people being treated differently, this person being treated differently. He just people are people.
Mm.
So it doesn't resonate with him either.
And it may be the community that they're in now is maybe look a little different than our communities,
Right.
the way we grew up.
More
So
diverse, by
it's
sure.
more
for sure.
diverse. So I believe that helps.
Mhm.
But it may skew their view that there's truly a problem or something
Right,
going
right,
on. Like you said,
right,
they may
right.
just not be aware.
Mhm.
And I think that's you. I think you open with saying like people like white people sometimes don't either they don't believe or they just know what's going on and they kind of turn their head and kind of ignore it.
Mhm.
But I think the most important thing you said is that a lot of times people don't really pay attention to things until it happens to them.
Right, right,
Right? Until it's affecting them or somebody in their family. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Hold up. I'm gonna come back and ask you. Have you had that talk with Gabe? Because I know Gabe's becoming a young man. He's gonna be driving soon. But I'm just sure there's one thing with you real quick. A week ago, Donald Trump's lawyer, I guess the guy was something like that, was ex-lawyer, whoever. The feds came and raided his house and arrested him
For what?
for lying to the courts and so just some
Okay.
stuff, right? As you can tell, I really didn't pay much attention to it. But one thing I did pay attention to was the way all these white people were on TV complaining on how aggressive and overly zealous the police were, right? And as a black person, you sit back and thinking, what? I mean, like they
Right.
always hold on, because if that was a black man, you'd be like the police force they did outstanding work and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But if it was one of your people, then all of a sudden it's like,
That's a problem.
did they really need all that? I mean, he just one man, and I'm like, dude, he walked out the house just like all these other white people who kill people. They walk out the house, they stop at McDonald's, get them something to eat, and then they take them wherever they gonna take them.
Yeah, and you said something about your older son, like how he views the police, and because probably how he's been treated by the police has shaped his view of the police, right? So, and that's the thing a lot of people don't understand. If you're consistently, treated a certain kind of way by the police, then you're definitely gonna have a different view of them than they would.
Right, right.
So I think that's one of the things they got to consider, or we have to consider as well. So how?
No. Have you had this? Have you had the talk with Gabe yet?
No. I think I've had some general conversation when there's been events going on or certain things happen, like with the shootings, Castillo, the guy in Minnesota, Minneapolis, wherever it was. I talked with both of them at that time about it, and they didn't really ask questions, I was just kind of, highlighting certain things and kind of just talking in general. But really, just sitting down and talking about being black, in America and, that type of conversation. No, I haven't. Not at this point.
I think it's sad though, because like this is one of those conversations to me. It goes right the same line as transgender people. It goes down the same line as all these other things that we have to introduce our kids to at such an age that you would never think you had to talk to them about just yet. But it's like it's glaring right in your face. So it's almost like if you don't address it, then the situation is going to address them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like this is one of those situations to me that, well, even though he's young and he might not get it, I'm gonna keep on letting him know, hey man, if this ever happens to you, if you ever, like I tell Drake, if you ever in the car with somebody and you see somebody do something that you don't want to do, get out and call me. And call me. I don't care where you are, what time of day it is. Call me. I will come pick you up.
That's very important
You know what I'm
because
saying?
I've seen it where a lot of times you just got people riding in the car. They may not even know what's about to go down, but as soon as it goes down, everybody in that car is getting the same charges.
It's same treatment.
Same treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, somebody hops out that car and goes and shoots somebody and hops back in that car. And
Everybody shot somebody.
Everybody shot somebody, right?
Mhm.
Everybody getting that charge. So it's very important.
So that's why I think it's so difficult to teach how to govern the community, because I think personally I just try to teach people how to govern themselves, and then like I try to get like we do, we govern our own household, which makes the norm in our household. I'm praying that it'll be my son's norm and your son's norm.
Right.
That this is how we behave. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. And I'm just hoping that they will be leaders enough one day that they can reflect and that their friends will want to behave like they behave, knowing that, hey man, he's staying safe, he's doing this, he's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that people still won't mess with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But still, I just think it's that if you're going to govern anything, you should try to learn how to govern your own household, and then it just kind of falls in line from there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's right. Just one man's opinion.
I had another question that I was thinking. I don't know if I just lost it though.
Deaf to Pookie. Is that what you about to say? You know what I'm saying?
So as far as we'll kind of go back to what do you believe our responsibility is truly, as a whole community, like you said, do you think it's just up to the individual, you, your neighbors, or whatever, the first to govern their households. And then do you think it truly extends out to the community? Do we have a responsibility? Because think about back in the day. You go around the block and you do something, somebody's grandmother might see you, she snatch you up and whoop your behind on the spot, and then call your parent and say,
Right.
hey, I just did this, and and then when you get home,
You
you're
got
about to get
another
another
one
one
coming.
coming, right? But that don't happen. Like you said, we don't even know our neighbors anymore, so that makes it a little more difficult to do. But for those that may still be in those type of communities, may still live in, those type of
Right.
environments, what do you believe their responsibility is?
Well,
as
I
far
think
as the community?
I think if they still live no type of community where everyone knows each other, then by all means, hey, if you know wrong, then you speak on it wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you know who's doing it, because there's no way in the world those. Well, Mike, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Well, because I'm trying to look at it from both sides of the coin. Most of the time, if person A is selling drugs, most of the time that's what they're doing.
Right.
If person A is selling drugs, he's probably supporting some people around in the neighborhood.
And you know what? That shuts a lot of people's mouths.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, no, if I'm benefiting from this, because most of the time you don't say anything, it's because you're either benefiting from it or you're fearful of it. And if everybody know you're just doing this, most of the time that guy's probably supporting people who normally wouldn't get support from any other place.
But think about this. This is one of the things people don't think about is that although he may be supporting his family and some neighbors, some
He's
people in the
destroying other
community,
families too.
but think about how many people's lives he's destroying. Not just the one person, the individual that he sold crack to or heroin or whatever to, but that person that he sold to has a family who may be torn apart because that person may be the leader of that household, a father or whatever, and his family is now in shambles because he's addicted to drugs. That's his choice, right? But you can't enable that. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't think a lot of people think about it from that standpoint. They think about, okay, this guy's helping his family out. He's trying to survive. He was able to come out of this by selling dope. But to think about how many families he destroyed.
Okay.
Along the way.
Okay. First, I say this right here. First, let me say, if that guy is in his household, first he's not the head of the household. He's just the man of the house. He's not the head of the household. Then I would say this. Then what onus lies on you as the person who's going out and buying drugs and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because,
that person absolutely has a responsibility.
Because if it wasn't
That's
drugs,
their
it'd be
choice.
alcohol. It'd be whatever.
Or something.
You
right?
know what I'm saying? So I know selling drugs is bad, and I would never say it's okay because it's not okay. I've never done it, never would do it. I don't agree with people that do it. But I will say this though. I think the person who's going out and buying those drugs, right, enables that person to keep doing what he's doing. Just like it's like both sides of the coin. You help me, I help you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so to me, I can't change anybody else, but I can try to change my behavior. So if my behavior is keeping this guy in business, then maybe I should think about that.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't drugs destroying your family, it'd have been something
It'll
else.
be something.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So how about this? Back to the whole the policing, and so do you believe that if we had people from our communities in positions as police and as over police that would make the situation better? Because I think, a person that looks like you or I that maybe even grew up in our communities can better understand our people. They may take, everybody knows Junebug, when he has a little drink, he gets a little belligerent. But if you grew up around Junebug or if you grew up in the community, you know that. So the way you approach Junebug as a police officer would be different than somebody that didn't know Junebug or grew up around him, right? So you would approach Junebug and talk to him like, hey man, cut this shit, cut this stuff out. This is what you're doing. Stop doing that. I'm gonna take you to jail. Chill, whatever, right? You may approach him a little differently,
Right.
Whereas that other guy, he comes on the scene, sees Junebug wild, and
Junebug
he
on
pulling
his
out,
chest, you know what I'm saying?
he pulling out his piece, and he may, shoot Junebug.
You know what? Now I agree with that, Mike. I agree with that 100%. But here's the thing, though. It's almost like in management. even though you know everybody, you can't treat everybody the same way.
That's true.
And this is why, because you might be able to go out with with Steve over here, and Steve know, hey man, this is personal. We gonna go out. We gonna have fun. We gonna have a drink. Whatever you go do.
Right.
And you go out with Chuck over here, and Chuck thinks that okay, since we went out, so then I can come into work late. I can do this. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, you almost have to govern everybody strictly the same way because people don't know how to. Because not everybody takes it the way you put it out. You see what I'm saying?
I get it. So you saying
So
maybe that person that grew up around people, they would view him as, oh, I could do whatever. He ain't gonna,
Right,
he's a
right,
police officer,
right.
but he's cool. He ain't gonna, mess with me or whatever, right?
So I think you should have like maybe one officer with a white officer.
One black with a white,
right,
one
you know what I'm
minority
saying?
with
Right,
a white
right.
officer.
I mean, in all the communities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that way, I can learn more about your community, and you can learn about my community. Because that's a win-win for everybody. Because maybe you see how I can go talk to Junebug over here, so if you ever have to encounter Junebug when they're by yourself, you just go talk to him. Hey man, calm down, because whatever.
What you just said reminds me of was it Fred Sanford, Hoppy and Smitty, right? You remember Fred Sanford? How they have Hoppy the black cop and Smitty the white cop.
Yeah.
And so Hoppy, Smitty would have to.
Mike took it back on you.
He would have to translate everything, the white cop said, right? But
basically,
it was basically like that, But yeah, so I agree with that. I think it's almost like, well, I ain't gonna compare it to desegregation, but busing, when they bus to different schools back in the day, right? It helps people to become familiar and to begin to understand those people that they don't.
Well, we saw how that worked out.
Right? Yeah. That's why I thought about it. I was like, well, hold on. Let me see if I should say that. But yeah. So I think that's a good idea. Why don't you think they?
Hold on. When I saw that happen, when I saw how that happened in Alabama, I'm like, I don't want to be bused. I'm good. Keep me over here in the project. I'm good.
Yeah.
I ain't trying to be spit on, beat up, nothing. I'm good.
So do you see that? I don't know if it may happen around in different police, in different cities and different towns or whatever. Maybe they're doing that, but I don't know if they truly publish that they're doing that, or I don't know if we've heard those stories.
Well, I've never
to where they do it and we see results from that. We see positive results.
Well, I'll just say this right here though, Mike. You can only, like in football, you can only do what you have to work with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like if we don't have minority people going out to be police officers, then that would never happen.
Yeah.
Because we got 100 white people and 10 black and brown people, then that situation we just said would never occur because we don't have enough people to do that with.
I wonder, and we could probably look up the stats so we can get our stat department to look it up, right? It's like in cities and
I gotta do it all, Mike.
Right, and majority, let's say majority black cities like Memphis or
Detroit
or places like that, where you have a lot of black police officers on the force. I wonder if those stats, like police shootings and killings, are as high as they are in communities where you have predominantly white on the police force and they're going out policing these communities. I wonder what those stats look like.
Now you do realize this though. it's more people shot by police officers that's not black or
not
brown. Right. Because we only make up 13% of the population.
Right, that's true.
So there's nowhere in the world that
Yeah, if you look at it that way, just
right.
raw numbers.
Right. So if you look at that stat, it's probably skewed a little bit because it's not a lot of us. So by far it is more white people being shot by police officers. But I bet you if you actually looked up how many unarmed people are being shot by police officers, then we'll be by far in front.
But think about this. That percentage, you say 13 to 15%, I believe, is in the U.S., right? You think about the world, the world, minority.
Right.
There's more minorities than there are white. Non-minority. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Just in the U.S.
Why do you think we're the minority in the U.S.?
and not everywhere else, or most other places?
Well, could it, I don't know this for a fact because you read about this stuff more than I do, but could it be because more more people that look like us was killed, you know, in the last 200 years or so than any other race, or could it be because um, the situation where the people were better than the situation here in the United States, so those people didn't come as much?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking because it's been mass killings of black families in the United States within the last 200 years or so.
Yeah.
That never get talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, like mass, like 300-400 black people at a time.
Yeah.
But we don't discuss stuff like that because it happened so long ago. But yeah, we can still talk about the Holocaust. But whatever, that's a different story.
Yeah. Now, I do know in certain countries where they have like dictatorships and stuff like that going on, they're definitely worse off. It could be black people killing black people.
Well, we ain't going those places. You
You know
already
what I'm
know.
saying?
Like, man, ain't nobody telling me what to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Dude, hold on. Did they have any black people in North Korea?
That's black people everywhere.
Oh, okay, but I've never seen one picture. I mean, like, maybe just dark skin or something. I don't know.
Wasn't Dennis Rodman over there or something?
He ain't count. He ain't count. You know what I'm saying? They sent him back over here. Say, hey, man, y'all can have this, bro. Y'all can, I'm going to eat one.
There's black people everywhere.
Dude, I've never seen that, though, Mike. Never seen that. I've never seen black people in Japan. Never seen. Have you?
What?
Are you
You
serious?
don't see black people in Japan?
Not black people. I mean, like blacks.
Like black, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I've never seen it. Are you serious?
They love us in Japan.
But they love us everywhere.
Konnichiwa.
But they love us everywhere but here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Isn't that something though?
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, because England they're not too crazy about blacks either. Though.
Yeah, certain
Yeah.
European countries, though,
And they probably hate blacks because they robbed them from everything. You know what I'm saying? they took all their little natural resources and want you to just stay in the dirt.
Yep.
But nevertheless, we digress from what we're saying. But I just think that as far as policing, Mike, that it's just hard to do when the people that's policing you aren't giving you any type of example, aren't giving you a reason to respect them, because you can respect the person a lot more than you can respect the title.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think that when you have to respect the title, that doesn't leave me much room to
Nope,
to
not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
How about this? I was thinking about this one day. It's like, you'll see some of these videos or whatever of how police, when they're detaining people, they're very aggressive, right? They're over the top a lot of times. So to me, in my mind, my natural response is if somebody comes up and, grabs me around the throat,
Yes.
or, hits me or tries to, gets very rough with me, my natural response is to react. Equal
With
with
the same
equal
aggression,
force, right?
Yeah, the same aggression. You
right?
just came to me, I'm come back at right.
So now you put yourself in a position, it's kind of hard to trick your mind to say, I can't touch
Right.
this person because if I do, they liable to
Okay,
shoot me,
watch this,
or I'm going to get all these charges
Okay,
because
watch-
I defended myself.
Watch this. One day, I got in a situation with a family member, all right, and the police was called.
Right,
But I left, so I didn't know. So Jane and I left, so I didn't know the police was called.
right.
Well, anyway, so we go right around. We go up, maybe like a block up the street, and we sit down. And we start talking. Right.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Mike, Mansfield PD pull up. One guy comes out trying to talk to me. One guy comes up and grabs me and throws me. Right.
Yeah,
So
right.
wait, hold on. I mean, like in little, like amount of seconds. Right. So I'm like you. I'm like, damn. Hold on. So my first reaction is to I grabbed him. Right. And the other guy was like, no. Because my wife was like, no. Because I'm thinking to myself, hold on.
You defending yourself.
Because dude, he just came and grabbed me and threw me. So of course I'm taking you with me.
Right.
Right. And so the other guy came and kind of called me or whatever. Well, I didn't fall. And I'm thinking, because my exact words was, what the, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
dude.
What are you doing? Yeah.
I mean, and so just that quickly, I could have got shot.
It could have escalated.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because had that one guy not been there, I kid you not, the whole thing would have been a whole lot worse.
Right. Yeah.
And I'd probably been, shot up by them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times with much as aggression and force as they bring to every situation, it doesn't require that clearly, but I think they escalate those situations, you know,
Right.
because if you got somebody like you or I that's gonna try to defend themselves, like it could go wrong real quick.
Because that's what they
Right.
want you to do.
That's what they want you
Right.
to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? So,
So how can you tell your sons don't defend yourself?
don't defend
Just
yourself.
sit there. You know
Turn
what I'm
the other
saying?
cheek, right?
Dude, yeah. You know, it's so funny, dude. It's so funny the way because you know, and I'm not gonna go here, but I'm just gonna touch this real quick. It's ironic that the Word of God tells you you have to learn how to be, you have to learn to have joy and long suffering. You have to learn how to be to humble yourself. You have to learn how to do all these things, right? And the only way you can learn those things is that you put yourself in a position to learn those things.
Right.
And most times, those positions, those situations are uncomfortable situations. And I mean, we were talking. I'm thinking, wow, you know, like, because that's the situation where you got to learn from that and learn how to submit to a greater authority than you are.
Yeah.
That's where you have to learn how to if your son was around or whoever, you have to learn how to humble yourself or just be meek about it, because you know you have the same power they have to do whatever.
Right.
But you have to
Physically.
be meek and say, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do whatever you know whatever it is that I have to do to make sure I make it home
Mhm.
to my family
Right.
that day or whatever. And it's just so funny how I don't mean literally funny, but it's just odd that if you think about it, well, all the stuff that you learn and how that you're going through is actually strengthening you in the way that God wants you to be strengthened.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But we don't see it that way because we're in today, we're in the now, because we have all these people doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
This is bad. So there's no positive in here, but it is positive in there. You know what I'm saying? Because it keeps us, it helps us to grow as individuals, as people, and hopefully we're growing spiritually to be the people that God wants us to be in the long term.
So in layman's terms, you're saying sometimes you gotta get your ass whooped to
Yeah, man.
to gain some inner strength.
Hey, Mike, you gotta take an L. You gotta take an L every now and then, and that L is a lesson, not a loss.
It's a
You gotta-
lesson, right?
You gotta take the L sometimes, Mike.
Yeah.
hmm
Wow.
I didn't really say it like that, but yeah.
I know, we gotta relate to all the people, right? You know, so they can understand. You know.
So basically, what I'm saying, you gotta get your ass whooped every now and
Every
then.
now
I'm
and
just
again,
kidding. I'm
yeah.
just kidding. Yeah. But if you had to say, if you had to just wrap what you thought, how to police your community and so forth, what would you say though?
I would say first, you know, foremost, you know, I don't think that all people are bad. All people are police officers, you know, so forth and so on. So it's always like they say, one bad apple, a couple bad apples that kind of spoils it for everybody. I know I've seen police officers, you know, that approach you with respect and they
Mhm.
treat you just like the man that you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, for those that, you know, approach it that way and do that, you know, kudos, hats off to those people. But for the others, you know, there has to be some type of repercussions that you know,
Wow.
that there has to be. I think that's the only way that, you know, these people will truly understand. Like you got to chop their head off if they doing the wrong thing, right? And I think that's the only way. It's by example. A lot of times people learn by example. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, you take that one of them out there that does wrong, chop his head off, then you got the other ones thinking like, you know what, I got to change my ways. Um, so that's my general thoughts on it. As far as policing our own communities as a people, I think we do have a responsibility first and foremost to our homes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then I believe, like I said, I think that extends to our communities. You call it snitching, I call it
Snitching.
snitching. Nah, but like you said, maybe there's a different approach. Maybe you go have a conversation with these people and, you know, truly explain, you know, what it means to you, what your community means to you, and, you know, how you see and what they're doing is devaluing, destructing,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
not only the community, the people, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
them as a person, right? So maybe you approach it, you know, from that standpoint. Other than that, I just believe we all have a responsibility.
I agree. I agree. All right. So if I had to wrap this thing up, Mike, I would just say this right here. First, vengeance is God. vengeance. So it's not up to me to say, people need to pay or whatever because they're going to pay in the end anyway. Because you reap what you sow. That's God's words, not mine. I agree with you. I think that we all have a part to play in our community. I think that diversity is a good thing, in the community. But I think it'd be a lot easier for us to help govern our community if we actually went out and met our community.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But again, like we've said, like we both agree that it starts in our homes first. And I just believe that I don't know. I just believe that if we just okay, you know what? This is what I believe right here, Mike. I believe that this is just part of Satan's scheme to keep everybody looking at something else that they shouldn't be looking at. And because the whole time is while you're so focused on this stuff over here, God's saying it's a lesson in this for you to learn. Like you just said, you can get your ass whooped. But the thing is this right here. Some kind of way in your life, you have to learn how to be meek. Some kind of way in your life, you have to learn how to be humble. Some kind of way in your life, you have to learn how to be long suffering. And I'm not saying that, that 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 God wants anybody to be a doormat, because that's not what He wants us to be. But some kind of way, Mike, some kind of way, if God chose this group of people to learn how to be these things in these situations, because I'm not saying all white people are bad, because I have white people go to my church who kids are police officers.
Right.
And we go back and forth often because I'm thinking, dude, you're praying for these people, but I'm looking at you like, hold on, Playboy. Not one time have you prayed for the other side of that coin. It's somebody's life they just affected. You know what I'm saying? Not just police, because police officers get shot randomly too.
Oh yeah.
So these are lives. So I just think and hope and pray that we can just try to learn from one another, whether it be in our communities, whether it be in the police stations, whatever it may be. Because I just believe that in the end of this whole thing, God is going to do what He wants to do. And so in the process of God doing what He has to do, we have to do what God wants us to do. So we can all be what we're supposed to be in the end of this whole thing. That makes any sense.
That does.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just why I would just wrap this up with. We can go on for another hour because we didn't touch on a whole lot of shootings. We didn't touch on a whole lot of different things. And so we can probably do that later if people want to do that with us later.
Yeah.
But pretty much that's our show today. We thank everyone for listening. If you do anything at all, do it for Christ. Y'all be blessed. Peace.